Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As you probably know, two fantastic diplomats met in Moscow Monday and Tuesday. And those are Lavrov and Jaishankar. Lavrov of Russia, obviously, and Jaishankar of India. Those are diplomats. And there's one more, his name is Wang Yi of China. And I don't know, the rest you can make your own mind about, but I think these three are good diplomats, real normal diplomats that you would not blush presenting them or introducing them to anybody. So see what's going on here. India keeps its independence and sovereign foreign policy under the pressure of Zimbabwe from across Atlantic, which India will receive a little weasel visit from one weasel Zelensky from United States, and that is Yellen. All right, this article comes from Sputnik. Let's see what happened in Moscow between these two great men. India will keep buying Russian oil, Foreign Minister Jaishankar said ahead of Yellen's visit to New Delhi. Yellen being the Secretary of Treasury. I blacked out. I was like, what? Secretary of Treasury of the United States of America. Well, India, the world's third largest oil consumer, purchased 22% of its total imports from Russia in October. This despite US attempts to convince New Delhi to join a proposed price cap on Russian energy supplies. India will continue to buy Russian oil as it ensures energy access to the population on the quote-unquote most advantageous terms, Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar said on Tuesday as he held a joint press conference with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. The Indian Foreign Minister described the energy market as quote-unquote stressed, emphasizing that under the current circumstances, it is the Indian government's quote-unquote fundamental obligation, I agree with that, to ensure that consumers have access to international market on the most advantageous terms. Now, that's a guy who speaks in behalf and for his people. No sanctions for other weasels and other interests. Great. And I'm quoting, in that respect, quite honestly, we have seen that the India-Russia relationship has worked to our advantage. So, if it works to my advantage, I would like to keep that going. End quote. Jaishankar replied to a journalist seeking New Delhi's response to the West's proposal on capping the prices of Russian oil. You like a free market that capitalist countries are involved in, right? Yes, are engaged in. Yes, fantastic. When I don't like it, they sanction you with something, your business goes down, and you take over the market that you just kicked the competition out. Great. It worked before, it works now, and it will work in the future. Unless the world market will break in two and they will say, okay, this is our territory, our sphere of economic influence, that's your sphere of economic influence. I don't have access on your market, you don't have access on my market. Or I let you have access on my market, but you will compete with my businesses on our terms as you did that first. That's a reaction. I guess that it's gonna happen. But let the second club grow a little bit. When it grows and when it's clear for everyone that this club will have a name and will have a little, the perfect, fantastic club of the universe or something, then that's going to be game on. Jaishankar's remarks come hours before U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is scheduled to arrive in New Delhi for discussions over an oil price cap and other economic issues. Developing countries like India and China have increasingly been buying discounted Russian oil to keep the inflationary pressure under control. Meanwhile, the G7 wants to keep Russian crude oil and petroleum products on the market to avoid a price spike, but at the same time limit Moscow's profits. That's very, very nice and honorable competition, as you can tell. And I'm quoting here again, the gainers from this price cap will be particularly those countries that do buy cheap Russian oil. And our hope will be that India would take advantage of this price cap, though its firms are bargaining with Russia, Yellen said ahead of her departure to the Indian capital on Tuesday. So I don't know what Yellen can bring. Yellen, what is she going to bring? What threats? I mean, that's the way it goes. She's not going over there to... First it goes to, hey, how are you, Jaishankar? Doing great? Yeah. Right? I always mispronounce Jaishankar. I knew I would pronounce Jaishankar. Hey, Jay, what's going on? Doing all right? Yeah. How about you? Oh, great. Those little servants in America, they work hard and we get their taxes and invest in Ukraine. Yes. How about you? They're going to talk about nicely at the beginning. Yellen is going to go straight to the subject at one point and say, hey, how about you guys cut the crap with the Russian oil and join our club? And Jaishankar would say, you know what, let me take my pants down first, turn around and let you kiss it. And Yellen will not like that a bit, and she would take her toys and go to her playground, I don't know, to London or somewhere. That's what's going to happen. The Indian foreign minister described the energy market as stressed. Of course it's stressed. It's stressed, and what are you going to do? You try to do whatever you do for your society, for your people. And it says, and I'm quoting here, we believe the price cap will give them leverage to negotiate good discounts from world markets. We would hope to see India benefiting from this program, the Treasury Secretary added. India imports nearly 85% of its crude in order to meet its energy requirements. 85% imports and 20% of that is Russian. Great. Russia became the largest oil supplier to India in October, surpassing Saudi Arabia and Iraq, the traditional leaders in this area, according to the energy cargo tracker Vortexa. In October, Russia supplied 946,000 barrels of crude oil per day to India, accounting for 22% of India's total crude imports, ahead of Iraq 20.5% and Saudi Arabia's 16%. India's overall crude imports increased by 5% in October compared to the previous month, while imports from Russia rose by 8%. Until March, India's imports from Russia had been just 0.2% of all oil requirements. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and the UAE were the top oil suppliers to the world's third largest oil consumer. So until March, India's imports from Russia has been just 0.2% of all oil requirements. And now is what, 22%? Is that how I read it? Even if I don't read it that way, Yellen comes over there to impose her will on Jaishankar, which I don't think is going to work. I'm 100% certain they will not. Again, 98%, not even 99, 98% certain Jaishankar in India will say, yeah, thank you very much for coming, but thanks, but no thanks. This, I think, is going to happen. But at least they stick together. Very interesting that the Indian foreign minister traveled to Russia to do that. Remember, Mr. Imran Khan of Pakistan, prime minister, not foreign minister, traveled to Russia, I think, right there on the 24th, 25th of February, and then he got a little vote out, no confidence vote from his weasel parliamentarians sponsored by people who are in the same boat with Yellen. Let's put it this way. So I hope that Modi and Jaishankar do not get a out of the office. I don't think, if that would have happened a long time ago. At least when they put the biggest pressure when Blinken came over there and got humiliated on the stage by Jaishankar. Watch that on YouTube. Very, very nice. And not only Blinken, but all those weasel so-called reporters. I like Jaishankar a lot. Oh, you knew? Okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.